I started playing Magic the Gathering in 2026. Here's what nobody told me. So, picture this. I'm on a camping trip, playing volleyball, having the time of my life. When all of a sudden, one of the guys I'm camping with, he pulls out about five or six of these little colorful boxes. Now, color, bright colors especially, do tend to activate my monkey brain, so naturally I walk over and ask him, like, what is this? Turns out they're Magic the Gathering decks. I'd heard of Magic before, but I had absolutely no idea how it worked. Fast forward a few weeks, I now own over 3,000 cards. I spent entire days organizing cardboard, and I've been absolutely destroyed by strangers in local games I didn't even know were happening. But honestly, I would do it all over again. I regret none of it. But there are a couple things that I wish people would have warned me about before I started playing. So, the camping trip ends. I get home, I open Facebook Marketplace, and I start looking for cards. I look up so many offers, you would have no idea. I was motivated, okay? And around a couple of hours later, I'm driving home with about 200 something cards. Some of them from Spider-Man, which is I didn't even know was a thing, and around 200 cards from something called Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Now, what is that? Like, what? I mean, Spider-Man is pretty self-explanatory, but what is Kamigawa Neon Dynasties? It's basically cyberpunk Japan with the robots, spirits, ninja, stuff like that, which seems familiar. Anyways, and meanwhile, I'm just looking at the cards, just thinking like, oh my god, that card looks cool, that card is sick, that card is pretty boring, but that card is really sick as well. And like, I'm just looking at the cards, admiring, but after like 5 minutes, I just realized I know nothing about this. I still don't know how to play. I just spent money to have nice pieces of cardboard. That's where I actually decided to learn how to play. Now, I was supposed to buy a lot of cards on Friday. The exact amount I'll tell you later. But waiting, that was not happening. Okay, so I download Magic the Gathering Arena. It's basically where you learn how to play. It's pretty straightforward. You play lands, you cast creatures, you attack, you block, easy enough. Everybody could do that. Then I found out there was a local card shop near me. So I walk in, the employees are incredibly nice. Seriously, you would think they would be like Discord moderators that are like ultra protective of their hobby, but no, they're incredibly chill. They even let me borrow some decks to like learn how to play. They gave me welcome decks. They were all about it. Like a new person trying to learn their hobby, they were ecstatic. They were really nice too. Did I say they were really nice? And so basically they answer all my beginner questions, and they're like, "Oh yeah, are you coming to Commander Night tomorrow?" I'm like, "What's Commander Night?" They say, "Well, you know everything you learned in Magic the Gathering Arena?" I'm like, "Yes." They just say, "Yeah, we're not playing like that." Excuse me? That you're telling me I learned how to play for no reason? And they're like, "Yeah, well, it's very similar, but it's not the same thing." They basically let me know what Commander is. It's basically like instead of having 60 cards in Standard, which is what I learned, you have 100 cards, and like they all have to be unique except for basic cards that are lands. And boy oh boy, was I getting myself into something. I show up the next day. I sit down, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm just here to watch. I don't have a deck. I don't have anything to actually play. But they're like, oh yeah, no, you should definitely play. So they let me borrow one of their like commander decks, and it's incredibly like well done. Like I some cards, okay, didn't even have any text. It was straight up illustrations. So I am baffled. It was a hell of a learning curve. So, I sit down. He hands me the deck. he starts explaining the rules. Every sentence somehow makes less sense than the last. I start to get the hang of it. The game starts. One guy is his turn takes 20 minutes. He puts down a card, okay? That triggers another card, that triggers another card, that triggers 4 different cards, that makes them all trigger, and it was basically infinite unless he was doing actively, like, something to stop it. So he had, like, as many combos as he wanted, so his turn took, like, 20 minutes. And you know what's the worst part? Even with creatures that were basically nigh unkillable, with infinite health or shit like that, he didn't win. Bro ended up losing first because everybody singled him out. So this guy just, you know, he has turns that take 20 minutes. So that is something. In turn, I just look up, you know, my cards. I try to bake a good strategy. And, you know, people start making deals. Someone's doing his thing, you know, we're not really paying attention to him. He ends up wiping us in the third round. Turn three. I played 3 turns before losing to somebody nuking the entire board. I did not expect to have a game like that, but hey, you know, it's good learning experience, but I knew I was way out of my league, you know. I had to get better. I had to learn more. So what I did, I go back home. I look at my cards. And then I realize I need more cards. Because, well, I can't play without enough cards, you know? Afterwards, I found a guy. I feel like every single Magic player has a guy eventually. You know, somebody that's willing to sell obscene amount of cards for very little money. But I found a guy, okay? Sells me about 1,500 cards for 60 bucks. So I'm like, done, you know, that's a way better price than I paid for what the other ones gave me, you know? So I just buy the cards, you know, I come back, I dump it on my desk, because why not? The first thing I notice is that I feel like that's a lot of cards for 1,500, you know? Like, I thought 1,500 cards was going to be smaller. I looked at the side of the box, it says 1,500 lands, plus, and that's a plus I didn't see, 2,500 extra cards, you know, that I did not pay for. Like, I don't think I paid for. Anyways, I don't know if the guy was just genuinely being nice and giving me more cards, or if he, like, got scammed by himself. But I got way more cards than I was expecting. I proceeded to spend the next 8 hours of my life just, I don't know, just sorting them by color and type. So I guess that's good. By the end, my eyes were fried. My brain was numb. I feel like that's a song. But I was happy, you know. I had my own cards. I was ready to build something great with them. Every single card was entered into ManaBox, okay? ManaBox is basically an app that lets you have a digital binder, and it's really useful if you want to look up which cards you have or just price your collection, because it gives you the price of your cards. I could search my collection instantly, and I finally had enough cards to build my first 4 commander decks. Were they good? Absolutely not. Let me just preface this. It was really bad, okay? I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to play, you know? But did they function? Somewhat. They were my decks, at least. I knew what I put into them. It was a good start. And that's when I knew I was hooked. A random camping trip turned into a week-long addiction that I feel like is going to last more than a week. And if you're thinking about getting into Magic, just know you're not just buying cards, you're just signing up for a hobby that has way too many benefits and just side effects. It's gonna take up your time, okay? It's addictive. It's fun. It's a good activity, okay? I'm not coping, okay? I swear. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe I just found another marketplace listing.